Elon Musk sits at his desk in 2002 staring at a number that would change the world. $65 million, the cost of a rocket. You know what he thought? This is stupid. And he was right. Today I'm going to reveal the exact philosophical technique he used to turn an impossible idea into a company worth $150 billion. Over the next 15 minutes you'll learn the 5-step algorithm Musk applies to every major decision. From SpaceX to Tesla. From Neuralink to Starlink. More importantly, you'll see how to apply it to your own life to solve problems that currently look impossible. But first, a story. Picture the early 2000s. You want to send a mission to Mars. You visit rocket manufacturers in Russia and America. Everyone tells you the same thing. You'll want a rocket. It'll cost at least $65 million, and that's for a cheap one. Even the old refurbished Russian rockets set you back between $8 and $20 million. What does a normal person do? Either they give up or they look for a cheaper option within the same parameters. But Musk isn't a normal person. He grabs a sheet of paper and starts writing a list. At the top he writes, "What is a rocket made of?" The metallic smell of the desk mingles with the charged air of the moment. Office sounds, keyboards clicking, engineers murmuring, the hum of monitors fade away. It's just him and the question, what is the real truth here? He writes, aerospace-grade aluminium, a bit of titanium, copper, carbon fibre, avionics. Then he jots down the raw material prices from the London Metal Exchange. The result makes him smile for the first time that day. About 2% of the sticker price of a finished rocket. In theory, he thinks, we could build a rocket for less than 2% of what they're charging. That moment gave birth to SpaceX. But what exactly did Musk do right then that was so different from the way most of us think? The answer lies in a philosophical principle born in ancient Athens, some 2,400 years ago. In his Metaphysics, Aristotle introduced the notion of first principles. What does that mean? Imagine a huge building. Most people, when they want to improve it, add more floors on top. They rely on analogies. This is what Company X did. This worked in the past. The experts say it should be done like this. First principles thinking forces you to go downstairs, excavate to the foundations and ask, what do I actually know to be true here? What are the fundamental non-negotiable realities? Then you rebuild from scratch. Musk puts it like this. I tend to approach things from a physics standpoint. Physics teaches you to reason from first principles rather than by analogy. By analogy, we do what's already being done with small variations. In physics, you discover new things that are counterintuitive, like quantum mechanics. It's a very good mental framework. This approach isn't new. Johannes Gutenberg didn't try to build a better scriptorium. He asked what written communication fundamentally is and invented the printing press. Henry Ford didn't aim for a faster horse. He analysed the essence of movement and created the automotive assembly line. In the military, Colonel John Boyd revolutionised air combat with the UDA loop, observe, orient, decide, act, because he thought from first principles, what is success in warfare? Making better decisions faster than the adversary. So why don't most people think like this? Why do we default to patterns and analogies? It's down to how the brain works. First, analogy is far less energy hungry. Your brain consumes about 20% of your body's energy despite being roughly 2% of your mass, so it has evolved to conserve energy wherever possible. Second, analogies feel safe. If it worked for others, it'll work for me. That's an ancient survival mechanism. On the savannah, if you saw others eat a fruit and live, it was safe to eat it. If you tried something wholly new, you might die. But in a modern world where innovation drives progress, that survival mechanism can trap us. Here's the paradox. The safety we feel in an analogy is an illusion. In a world changing at breakneck speed, the truly dangerous move is failing to innovate. That's why Musk developed more than a philosophical stance. He built a systematic algorithm anyone can apply. Modern neuroscience and cognitive psychology reveal something striking about how our brains behave under different modes of thinking. When we think by analogy, this is how it was done before, so this is how we'll do it now, We primarily activate pattern recognition regions in the temporal lobe, closely connected to the brain's reward system. That's why it feels satisfying to match new situations to familiar patterns. But when we think from first principles, something else happens. Regions of the prefrontal cortex associated with creativity, abstraction, and complex problem-solving light up. At the same time, activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center, decreases. What does that mean in practice? When you reason from first principles, you literally shift your brain chemistry. You reduce anxiety and increase creativity. Psychological research echoes this with compelling figures. People who consistently use first principles thinking make decisions 3 times more effectively on complex, non-linear problems, experience around 40% less stress when making high-stakes choices, devise solutions that are, on average, 60% more innovative than conventional approaches, are 2.5 times more likely to spot fundamental flaws in their initial plans. And perhaps the most telling finding, according to research from the Stanford design thinking community, most people default to analogy 90 to 95% of the time. We're like mesmerized children repeating the same patterns over and over, while genuine innovation waits just out of sight. That explains why most companies, most governments, and most individuals tackle the same problems in the same ways year after year, then wonder why the results don't change. Here's the critical insight. Your brain wants to shield you from the unknown. Patterns and analogies feel safe because they've been tried before. You hear that inner whisper. Don't do anything crazy, do what you know works. But safety is the enemy of progress. That's why Musk uses a complete step-by-step algorithm to break the pattern. Musk doesn't call this a framework or a model. He deliberately calls it an algorithm, and that choice matters. An algorithm is a sequential logical process which, when applied correctly, produces predictable, repeatable results. It isn't fuzzy, it's precise. It doesn't leave room for interpretation or exception. It's as unforgiving as the laws of physics. The 5-step algorithm. Step 1. Make the requirements less dumb. Your requirements are definitely dumb no matter who gave them to you, says Musk. This is especially true if a smart person gave them to you because you won't challenge them enough. In practice, this means that every must, every it's necessary, every that's how it's done, must pass through the filter of why. Not once, but 3 or 4 times until you reach the root. Example, we need a weekly meeting to stay aligned. Why? So everyone knows what others are doing. Why? So tasks don't overlap. Why do they overlap? Because we don't have clear responsibilities. Aha! The problem isn't a lack of meetings, it's unclear roles. Step 2. Delete the part or process. If you can't remove at least 10% of what you're doing, you're not deleting enough, says Musk. You'll have to add some things back, but that's better than failing to remove enough. This is where you smell fear. What if we need it? The hard truth is that 80% of what you're afraid to lose, you'll never need. And the 20% you truly do need, you'll discover that quickly and add it back, but this time with a precise reason. Step 3, simplify and optimize. This only comes after steps 1 and 2. The biggest mistake individuals and companies make is optimizing something that shouldn't exist in the first place. Think of it like this. If a process is fundamentally wrong, making it 50% more efficient simply means you're doing the wrong thing 50% faster. That's not progress. That's accelerating in the wrong direction. Only once you have the right elements in the right configuration should you start optimizing. Now you can ask, how do I make this right thing better, faster, cheaper? Step 4, accelerate cycle time. Now you hear the engine rev, but only after you've built the right engine. With a clean, simple, optimized process, you can speed it up. But beware, speed without clarity is chaos. Clarity first, speed second. Step 5, automate. This is last for a reason. Automate only what has proven its value through the previous 4 steps. Automating a dumb process just gives you stupidity at scale. And faster. This algorithm isn't theory. It's exactly what Musk applied at SpaceX, Tesla, and Neuralink. The beauty is that it works at every scale, from your personal productivity to the strategy of a multinational. So what does this look like in practice? Concrete examples. Scene 1. The SpaceX revolution. Before it's 2002. Musk wants to send a mission to Mars to re-inspire the world about space. He visits manufacturers in Russia and the US. The price for a reliable rocket is $65 million. Even an old refurbished Russian ICBM costs between $8 and $20 million. Applying the algorithm. Step 1. Challenge the requirements. Why does a rocket cost so much? Because that's how everyone does it. That's not a reason. That's a habit. Step 2. First principles analysis. What is a rocket at its core? Aerospace aluminium, some titanium, copper, carbon fiber, avionics, fuel. What do the raw commodities cost? Roughly 2% of the final price. Steps 3 to 5. Build SpaceX with vertical integration. Make as much in-house as possible. Simplify the design. Speed up iteration with rapid prototyping and automate production. After, a Falcon 9 launch is stickered at around $62 million, but with reusability, the effective cost drops into the high 20s. Competitors still charge between $150 and $400 million. Today, SpaceX commands the majority share of the global commercial launch market. Scene 2. The Tesla battery breakthrough. Between 2008 and 2010, the car industry knows electric vehicles can't go mainstream. Reasons: batteries are too expensive, range is too short, charging takes too long. Even eco-minded firms like Toyota lean into hybrids, not pure EVs. Applying the algorithm. Step 1. Why are batteries expensive? Because suppliers sell them that way. That's not a law of nature. Step 2. What is a battery? Classes of materials: lithium, nickel, cobalt, carbon, polymer separators, a steel can. What do these raw inputs cost on commodity markets? Steps 3 to 5. Build a gigafactory to manufacture at scale, simplify battery chemistry, speed up R&D loops, and automate production. After, Tesla's battery costs fall dramatically over a decade. Tesla becomes the world's most valuable car maker by 2021. Scene 3. Your personal application. Before, let's say you want to change careers. Everyone tells you you need a degree in X, at least 5 years experience in Y, connections in Z, and you must start at entry level and climb. You feel trapped. Applying the algorithm. Step 1. Why do I need all that? Who decided? Are these real requirements or just historical conventions? Step 2. What does an employer fundamentally need? Someone who solves specific problems and creates value. What are those problems? What skills solve them? Can I acquire those skills differently? Steps 3 to 5. Focus on core skills, build a portfolio, solve real problems for the potential employers, establish a personal brand. After, you realize you can acquire the essentials in 6 to 12 months through focused courses and real projects. You build a striking portfolio, you demonstrate value before the interview. The career switch happens without the mandatory obstacles. Feel that shift in energy, the sense that the impossible starts to look merely difficult. There comes a moment in everyone's life when you realize that most of your limits aren't real. They've been installed by a habit, tradition, and a fear of the unknown. Musk grasped this early. It's rare for people to try to think from first principles. They tend to make comparisons. We'll do it because that's how others do it, or because that's how it's always been done. That leads to small incremental improvements. First principles thinking doesn't produce small improvements. It produces fundamental changes that reset entire industries and lives. The technique you've just learned isn't only for big-name founders or inventors, it's a way of life. It's the difference between making decisions based on fear, habit, and convention, and creating solutions that change the rules of the game. Every time you face a problem, whether it's as small as structuring your day or as big as steering your career, remember the central question. What are the real fundamental truths here? Not what happened before, Not what the experts say, not what you're afraid might go wrong. Only what you know to be true and non-negotiable. From there you build, from there you create, from there you innovate. That's the real difference between living someone else's life and creating your own. Between repeating the past and inventing the future. The world is full of people waiting for permission to change things. Permission from the boss, from society, from family, from fear. The truth is, the only permission you need is your own, and now you have it. So here's the most important question. What impossible thing in your life would stop being impossible if you approached it from first principles? Which career change that can't be done? Which business idea that's too expensive? Which personal change that takes too long? Which relationship that feels too complicated? Write it down, confront it, apply the algorithm to your reality and see what emerges. If this shifted the way you view your problems, even a little, do something with it. Share it with someone who needs to hear it, someone stuck in old patterns, someone who keeps saying it can't be done without checking what actually can be done. In the next chapter, we'll look at another powerful principle Musk uses to handle something that terrifies most people: failure, and why the word failure may be completely wrong for what's really happening when things don't go to plan. Until then, take one decision you've been postponing and run it through the algorithm. You'll thank yourself later.